Hello and welcome to a bite-sized patch note reading with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. This is about patch 4.57 that goes live today, the 23rd of April 2019. This patch is designed specifically to introduce the new world visit system, however there are a few other additions to the game besides it, including the first small thing to notice is an update on 2.0 content. The Crystal Tower questline, beginning with the quest Legacy of Allag, was changed to make it much easier back in patch 4.4. Those of you who have started the quest prior to that patch will now get a warning to say that you should abandon and restart that quest, as it will make it easier with the new version. On to the main changes then. The Reef of Snakes Extreme has moved to the Duty Finder out of the Raid Finder, as this is the case for all new trials when they've been out for a certain duration. There are no changes in this patch to Saryu himself, and as such there are no totems added in this patch, so who knows when we'll be able to exchange Saryu totems for the actual mount. You'll be pleased to know that the limit on the Alphascape crystalloids from Alphascape 4 has been completely removed. These are some of the items that you would normally exchange for military grade tomestones and then combine with Rowena's tokens of Genesis for the Skaven 390 item level weapons. So now you can collect them all if you so desire, with only Genesis being the limiting factor. The Echo has been added to Omega Deltascape and Sigmascape Savage up to 20%. In addition, Alphascape Savage has now also got a 15% Echo buff as well. The Orbon Monastery has been changed to allow you to loot what you like when you like. No more gear restrictions per week on equipment obtained, and indeed no longer a weekly lockout on the Molondias coins either. So if you want to upgrade everything to 400 item level on your character or alt jobs, now is your time. In addition to these changes, another one that goes in tandem is the Skaven Esther, which is used to strengthen the Allagan Tomestone of Genesis weapons to 400 item level, and this can now be exchanged at Ashina in Ralga's Reach for one of each of the three 4.0 Alliance Raid currencies that you get at the end, so one Rabanastan Guggen and Molondias coin will be enough to purchase an Esther. So this really is the catch-up patch people have been waiting for. And speaking of catch-up, Eureka Pagos got some nerfs again, finally. The amount of vitiated ether, i.e. light, as some may call it, that you gain from notorious monsters has been increased, they say, along with the probability of obtaining it, as well as the amount gained from defeating enemies of elemental level 40 has also been increased. And the last Eureka Pagos change is that the chance to get the Ballroom Etiquette Insufficient Petticoats, or /shiver, which is pretty rare to see on servers, has been increased from opening cold warped lockboxes. So let's just take a moment to sigh in relief that Pagos finally got a light nerf. PvP gets a little section, literally just saying what we already knew. Season 13 begins today, and this is the last season of Stormblood. There's a video I did on the channel looking at the future rewards from this next season, on that yesterday if you're interested. The Abes and High Summoners outfits, as in Yuna and Tidus outfits from Final Fantasy X that you could get if you purchased the FanFest tickets a couple years back, have now been given set bonuses. Specifically, word on the street is that they have had a EXP set bonus applied to them under level 30. There's plenty of speculation as to why this is, but the real question is, does this mean that they might one day be coming to the Mog Station? Okay, so now we have the wonderful nerfs and changes to the base game out of the way, let's look at the main course of the patch, and that's the World Visit system. Essentially, World Visit allows you to visit other servers on your data center. To do so, you can interact with an Aetheryte in one of the 3 starter city-states, be that Uldar Steppes of Nald, New Gridania or Limsa Liminsa Lower Decks. When you click the main Aetheryte, you will have the usual options, in addition to the new World Visit tab. Clicking this will allow you to choose a server that you want to visit directly, and then you can basically start to queue for it. There's plenty of situations that could affect this queue. Firstly, you cannot leave the zone you're currently in whilst preparing to transfer to this other server. You cannot use the Duty Finder whilst waiting, and sometimes it will prevent you from transferring due to congestion entirely, or if you're on a specific quest. There are a lot of restrictions on what you cannot do on other servers whilst you're visiting. This includes gathering of legendary or unspoiled nodes on a Disciple of Land class, you cannot summon, hire or release retainers, you cannot sell items on the market board, however you can still buy them, so technically you could visit other worlds to find the cheapest of an item and go crazy shopping, you cannot form or join a free company on a visited server, you cannot view FC information if you're in one, and you cannot earn FC credits. You cannot see, use, join or make link shells, you cannot purchase housing estates and apartments or indeed share residences, you currently cannot attend or make ceremonies of Eternal Bond, but at Tokyo Fan Fest they did discuss making that possible to visit them in the future. The Gold Saucer Lord of Verminion tournaments, Triple Triad tournaments and Cacpot tickets cannot be purchased or entered into, and you can use deep dungeons, but visiting players will not have their score saved to the leaderboards. Moogle Mail will be unavailable in this visited world entirely, however you do get notifications on mail, but obviously no way to access it until you return home. Eternity rings that usually allow you to teleport to your other bonded player cannot be used unless you and your bonded player are on the same server, visited or otherwise. Same goes for teleporting to players using the Aetheryte pendulums, and of course teleporting to a friend's house on another server will only work if you're on their server currently. And finally, if a world has a new world or preferred world bonus active, you won't be able to take advantage of those buffs by just visiting. You'll need to actually transfer there via the paid transfer service. So that's a lot of restrictions then. They continue saying that after the patch, North America should have 3 data centers to choose from. Hopefully everything goes smoothly over there, and hopefully you don't see a massive population drop on some of the servers there. And they finish this section off with a mention of the server backup feature being finally fully implemented to back up a character and system settings and share them across platforms. Either way, that's the patch notes for 4.57. What did you think about these changes? Are you hyped to go back to Eureka one last time and clear up Pagos content? Or does the idea just make you cry inside? Or are you more excited to shop on other servers? Let me know below, and I'll see you all next time.